What's up, guys? Blade Master here, and you're watching the Wolf of Dreams Total War channel. And I've just brought some more Total War Rome 2 action. And as you can see, this is the Oracle of Amun-Ra. And yes, this guy is Amun-Ra. Huh. Clearly doesn't do squats. He skips leg day. Egyptians used to skip leg day, I guess. Anyways, I'm playing against Blackjack, and in this one I've taken Seleucids and he's taken Baktrian. The Oracle, I just decided to take this map because I haven't played it in a while, but I thought that by putting it east to west, it wouldn't be as imbalanced as it always is. Because usually in quick battle, you would start off somewhere here and you would attack your opponent from here, and he'd be attacking you from there. So it always puts someone at a massive disadvantage. But I thought this would be different. It's not. I'm still at a pretty decent disadvantage. But my build has been pretty different for this game. Let me just fast forward until both of our armies meet before I give you guys the details on my build. Alright, so yeah, this is good. So I've taken 5 Levy Pikes, I've taken 3 Persian Light Archers and 1 regular Archer. That's the 5th Levy Pike over there. I've also brought 2 Agima Cav, 2 Hellenic Cataphracts. Oh no, is it 2 Agima Cav, 1 Hellenic Cataphract? Yeah, and 3 Median Cav. Also brought 2 Horse Skirmishers and an Indian War Elephant. So not the Syrian armored elephant, just the Indian regular unarmored Indian elephant. He has brought a pretty strong build. He's brought 4 Noble Blood Cav totally, a Baktrian Royal Cav Gen, 2 Baktrian Horse Archers. So these guys are the 700 cost ones, and they're very strong actually. They've got good melee attack and good weapon damage, and they actually have decent armor. 35 armor is not great, but it's good enough for protecting yourself against enemy Horse Archer fire. He's brought a sword core of 4 thorax swords, 2 light peltas, 1 Persian light archer, and a total of 2 Thoreos spears. So now I'm going ahead and trying to attack his Baktrian horse archers, try and get a couple of volleys in them with my javelin cavalry. And as long as I get a couple of volleys, then they would die pretty soon. And here I see a pretty nice opportunity and get some volleys in on his Baktrian Royal Cav Gen. These guys have 60 armor, which isn't great at all, especially considering that Baktrian Noble Horse have 85. So they are definitely quite a bit susceptible to javelin fire. But he retreats with them pretty quickly and brings his Persian light archers to support. And meanwhile, he's also got some Baktrian Noble Horse. Baktrian Horse Archers who are just ready to fire on my Horse Skirmishers if they ever get in range. Now, I'm not really sure what to do at this point. I can't be very aggressive because I've got a Pike Corps, but I'd still go ahead and decide to, reposition them, put them on slightly higher ground. He doesn't seem to want to engage me at this point, which is good news for me because that way I can move up to a higher ground from down here to up here. Let's see if he lets me actually do that. If he does, then it's a pretty big boost for me. Levy Pikes will be defeated by thorax swords, by a full strength thorax swords in general, even in a head-on fight, especially if they're deployed in such thin lines. Now, I'm just retreating with my horse skirmishers. I decide to bring them here, and then eventually I'll put them back next to my cavalry. It's not very wise to be as adventurous with horse skirmishers as you would be with regular horse archers, and that's just because skirmish AI is the worst thing in Rome 2, and they also have limited range, so they are pretty susceptible to enemy horse archer fire, regular archer fire, and stuff like that. So they're much better suited to assisting in the cav fight. So when you've got a cav on cav battle, then they're pretty useful in that respect. So you just run around the enemy cavalry and then shoot at them. But over here, I'm trying to just get some shots in on his Baktrian horse archers. It doesn't really work very well, but he does bring his Baktrian noble horse to try and deal with my skirmishers better. And this is a prime opportunity for me to shower some javelins on these guys. They are on precision shots, so they have some unbelievable damage. They have 46 damage right now. So they right off the bat they kill 4 Baktrian noble horse. But so far I haven't used them too well, and they haven't been very effective. But the game's not even really even started. there's just a lot of maneuvering going on at this point. Both of us are trying to play pretty defensive. I'm getting a an inverted wedge formation going so that I can quickly try and box up if I have to. And yeah, this is, I would have posted the Armenian King's battles before this, so yeah, this is pretty reminiscent of what he did. I really like that strategy, and it's worked quite well. So yeah, in this one I've just decided to keep experimenting with that and see how it works for me. So now I bring my Persian light archers up in front to get a couple of volleys on his thorax swords. I focus fire with one of them, or with all three of them. Meanwhile, he's brought his Baktrian horse archers pretty close to my cavalry flank, and I see this, and instead of getting flank shots, I just put one of my Median cav to face them, so that even though they have terrible shields, they could probably do a bit better than they usually do. These guys are extending a bit, they are being a bit adventurous, so I do decide to advance a bit with my levy pikes. I don't have to worry too much about skirmishing at this point, and here you can see his Baktrian noble horse are trying to attack my Persian light archers, and then I retreat with them. He's obviously not going to engage my pikes. That would be a terrible micro mistake by him, but obviously he's quite a capable player, so he's not going to make such mistakes. Now I go ahead and push both my cavalry to either flank, and at this point I'm just waiting, and all this time I can just use to skirmish his thorax swords, etc., to death. 3 Persian light archers is not a bad skirmishing force to bring. They have 29 missile damage, but they have 150 range, and for cheap archers that's really a big boost. So I don't get quite in range of his thorax swords at this point, so I do decide to move my levy pikes just a tiny bit so that they can start firing on these thorax swords. And again, yeah, it's the same thing, focus fire. And meanwhile, he's just waiting it out, I guess. At this point, he's calculating what he has to do, and this is what he is going to do. He's going to bring all his cavalry, or a lot of his cavalry, to one flank, which is a good idea because I can't attack on this side. On this side, and there's no point why I kept. There wasn't really a big point why I kept these cavalry here. Just that a regiment of 2 Median cav and 1 Hellenic cataphract, along with some archer support and some horse skirmisher support, should be more than enough to take care of most most enemy cavalry. Now he brings his he advances with his light peltas, and they're going to shower some javelins on this levy pike unit, and even a couple of volleys on these levy pikes, and they will drop really quickly. So that's why I focused fire with my Persian light archers, and they have got quite a couple of kills. From 120 they whittled them down to around 108. And I also bring my Median cav up here, just like those shepherd dogs, to try and shepherd the light peltas away. And here I see a pretty nice opportunity. He doesn't micro as well as he should have, and I take this opportunity to get a nice flank charge on him. His cav are much better than my Median cav and stuff, but they are in a pretty precarious situation. And now I've got my my Hellenic cataphracts attacking his Baktrian royal captain, who aren't very good. And right off the bat you can see that they've lost quite a bunch of men. And I've also put precision support on a precision shot on my horse skirmishers, and focus fire on his Baktrian royal cap. So you can see they're dying really quickly. He doesn't really know what to do over here, which is very understandable, because he can't really engage me. I've got a lot of pikes, so I can it's going to take a while for him to try and outmaneuver me. But he does have spear support, which is pretty scary for my Hellenic cataphracts. Even though they're doing really well, they have just absolutely annihilated his his gen, and now they're killing off this Baktrian noble horse. But I bring my Indian war elephant to attack these Thuria spears, and they're not going to stand up to an elephant charge. Just dropping like crazy. Meanwhile, one of his Persian light archers did quite well against mine, and they killed one of them off. And now he's got his light peltas, who are dying, but it's fine because I've only got 2 archers left. And I see him try to bring his noble horse and try and catch me napping, but I countercharge with my Agima cav, and they'll hold them out for a little bit. I also bring one of my other Agima cav to try and support this battle, because this side of the battle is done. He tried to get my elephants to rout, but I just decided to I mean, they didn't rout thankfully, or they didn't run amok thankfully. So I just used my Median cap to try and catch his Baktrian horse archers. And you can never rely on skirmish AI, so they will be caught most likely very soon. Now, this side of the cab battle will go in his favor. My Akima cab are losing men quite quickly because he's also brought a thorax swordsman to support this battle. Akima cab are very strong cavalry, and just because Seleucids have access to Hellenic artifacts, not a lot of people take them. But for 1300, they are very strong, as strong as Ptolemaic cab, and that's a very strong cab unit to take. So this Akima cav is charging into the flanks of those thorax swordsmen, and they're racking up the kills. I mean, they're doing quite well. The thorax swords is wavering, and now since I've got a lot of cav advantage on this flank, I'm just going to try and outmaneuver my opponent. I wanted to catch and kill his Persian light archers as soon as possible, and for that I'm charging into his thorax swords to pin them down, and then I'm going to try and use my wavering horse skirmisher to try and attack them, but they routed. So that opportunity is gone. I'm instead going to use this horse skirmisher to try and kill them. Now I charged with my Hellenic artifacts, and then I immediately pulled back with them because they will die if left alone. He did kill one of my levy pikes with his light peltas, but I immediately moved my pike box, and I'm going to be able to deploy just in time to catch his thorax swords. Well, not just in time. They are losing quite a few men, but they will put their pikes down, and now they'll be quite strong. And I'm just reforming over here, trying to get as defensive a position as possible. And I moved my other Akima cab back. I didn't micro them as well because, as I should have, because I was busy with my Indian war elephants. But these guys are just about to kill these thorax swords, and that's going to be it for his frontal assault. He's got a couple of thorax swords left, some Bactrian noble horse left, but they're not going to pose much of a threat. My Persian light archers are basically done. They're out of ammo now, and now it's just down to me to pike box and let this game run its course. My obviously his my Indian war elephants are going to do well, although they are losing a bunch of men at this point. I guess they were low on HP or something. uh, wow, 14 out of 24. Jesus, why? That's strange. Anyways, um actually, those Bactrian noble horse did kill a bunch of my men, a bunch of my elephants, but it's not bad. I mean, I charged one of his thorax swords with my Gima cab, and now I move on to his next thorax swordsmen, who are engaging with my levy pikes, and this is just going to be a straight charge right into my pikes. So his thorax swords are going to die quite quickly there. They did get into the rear of my pike line, which isn't good for me. But this game is basically over. He had one levy pike unit, which is pretty strange. I don't know why he brought only one. Um, but yeah, they're not going to do too much. I do decide to shift my levy pikes around once these guys are done. Yeah, once these guys are dead, yeah, I shift my other levy pike around because in case his thorax swords come in and attack me, I have some pike support. But that's good enough for winning the game, and yeah, that's the end of this game. My Indian war elephants did really well, and so did my Persian light archers, 189 and 70, so almost 300 kills, total of at least 300 kills on all my archers. And one of my levy pikes did quite well. I think they were the ones who faced the Thureo spears. Agima Cav did really well, and my Hellenic Cataphracts did quite well too. My Median Cav would never have won the battle for me, but all things considered, they did okay. One of my horse skirmishes did quite well because I think that was the one that I set on one of his Persian light archers. But yeah, that's the end of this game, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. It was something a little bit different because I usually don't bring pike builds. But you can see that bringing a lot of numbers in pikes definitely does work. So until next time, guys, peace.